Stop Working Broke podcast, hosted by Chad Murray. If the anxiety never shuts off, you're buried in jobs, chasing checks, and your phone goes quiet the second you stop pushing, you're not alone. Here, you'll get real clarity and straight advice to calm the chaos, fix the systems, tighten your team, and create steady leads. Because freedom starts when the anxiety stops running the business. Let's get going. Thank you for coming to Stop Working Broke. I am Chad Murray. I'm here today after a hiatus of 3 weeks. And where did I go? After 3 weeks of no podcasting and being so consistent here the last few months, where did Chad go? I'll tell you where Chad went. Chad went down the AI rabbit hole. And guess what? What popped out the other side is something I had to do a podcast on. I was so involved, so trying to do something that I learned so much. I suggest anyone to try some stuff with AI, but going down the rabbit hole that I did, not my forte. I got a couple products, or at least, one good product out that's being fine-tuned by someone because I wasn't able to finish it, but I got 90% of it done. And so I wanted to talk about that with you today because you're looking at the screen. You're looking at what we're looking at. It's called the Nut Report. Now, I'm going to talk about this. It's a product I'm coming out with. It'll be out in the next week. What does this product do? This product right here is the numbers game and how you're going to be able to run your business. No one's going to have to tell you some numbers. We're not going down a big old long list of what you have to go do and what numbers you need to know. This is the easy thing. This is what I did on the first week I started my business. 30 years ago now, I'm sorry, in the chimney industry, that I kept my numbers. And it's pretty simple. I mean, when we start talking about this, let me talk about why we're doing it here, why you need to know some of this stuff. Where are we going? What is this podcast really about? So, here's the thing. Your actual schedule will lie to you. It will lie to you. It will look busy is not profitable. Busy does not make money. And I will tell you, there is not a client yet over the hundreds I have coached that when I looked at their calendar, wow, they should be making tons of money this week. And you look at it, they're $15,000, $5,000 below break even. Yet they're busy. And of course, they're hiring me to try to help figure out what's going on. And so I don't want to overwhelm you with numbers because that's not really the problem here. The problem is you got to know a couple numbers to start learning to make money. And then you start learning more numbers. So this is the elephant. How do you eat an elephant? You take a little nibble and then a bite, and then you just keep nibbling and biting, and finally that elephant's eaten. So, I mean, that phrase is so true with this. We just got to know the numbers to make you money today, this week. And that's what I'm about to help you do. And so, I mean, crews are working, the phones are ringing, your jobs are booked. But what you don't see is maybe the jobs are underpriced, your labor's too high, crews might be inefficient, sales isn't feeding the schedule correctly. These are things, a couple. I'm just talking 3 or 4 numbers I'm going to teach you that are going to help you make these decisions. So at the end of the week, you're profitable. This, I'm telling you, is a game changer for you. Is just to know a little bit of numbers of what it is. So let me ask you something. There's only one number that really matters. And that is, are you making money this week? That's the only really the end of the week. That's the number that matters. Not the end of the month, not 3 months when your bookkeeper might tell you something, and certainly not at the end of the year. This week, right now. Why? Why do you need to know that now? Let me ask you why. Well, let me tell you why. How do you fix a bad week? How do you make a good week better? How do you make an outstanding week know that just leave it alone and schedule for another week? The calendar will lie to you. The schedule will lie to you. It'll also tell you if you got the wrong people doing the wrong things. For instance, the numbers I'm about to tell you, what it can tell me, helping you out, or I will teach you how to do this, is when you start seeing a trend, you start asking yourself a few questions from some of these numbers I'm about to show you. And when you can start asking yourself the right questions to be able to make a decision right now that affects your money, your schedule, your employees' money, their paychecks today, game changer. 100% new way to look at numbers. The way I've been doing it. It's not your dad's numbers. It's not your grandpa's numbers. These are the numbers you should know in real time all the time. And it's hard because you have to do it yourself. Well, that's why for the years I was fortunate enough to recognize earlier in my journey, literally like 22 years ago, I needed someone doing some numbers for me. I didn't have the time. I was running my business, still out in the field. We had a retail store at the time. I didn't have time to figure out these numbers, but I knew I needed to know them. So I took a chance and hired a buddy of mine to do my numbers. And he was with me until the last year I sold my company. And he would tell me a ton of numbers that helped us grow. Now, in the beginning, this is what we started with, what I'm about to show you. So the importance of this is literally the start of knowing how to make money and knowing how to scale the business. Now, if you haven't read the E-Myth, this is going to help you. The E-Myth is going to help you get to the point where you need to grow your business to where you're not relied upon. If you're listening to my podcast, I hope that's your view. I'm coaching probably 3 or 4 people in their late 50s or early 60s who have owned their business for well over 20, 30, 40 years, and the whole business still relies on them. And we're building it. It's not too late. We're building them. And the first thing we're starting with is these numbers. And by the way, I debuted this to one of my clients 2 weeks ago. So let me show you. And before I show you the whole thing, I'm going to just tell you. It populated their production this week and the next 3 weeks on the report. And we had noticed the next week was a good week. And the week after that was losing money, but an okay start to 2 weeks. And then the third week is really a good week again. And this was enough early in the week that we could say, let's move some stuff to this awesome week and then start working on next week and then move some stuff around. Literally, the guy was going to make $3,000 and he ended up making $12,000 by just knowing those easy numbers. And he's on track again this week to make, I think, $5,000. But he has the next week set up to break even already. And so this is what starts happening. You start knowing just a couple numbers. So let's get into it. So you can see my screen. This is the nut report. And so how this works is you're going to onboard, you're going to pay the $197 a month, and then you're going to go get your monthly expenses. Now, how do you get your monthly expenses? I don't know what my expenses are. And you're going to sit there and tell yourself, oh, every month is so different. Blah, blah, blah. Go look at your bank accounts. Watch. You have probably your off-season numbers and your on-season numbers where your expenses are probably pretty damn close. So just make this simple. Look at last year's this month. So it's April. So we're going to start at May. Look at last May. Look at expenses. Now compare that to April or the month we're in right now, or maybe even March, and see where we're at. Maybe you've added some stuff and see where we're at with expenses. And now what you do is you come up with an educated guess on what your actual monthly expenses are going to be for May. Now I'm recording this podcast April 22nd of 2026. So I'm doing this in the hopes that you're going to sign up or you're going to look at this in May. So you go put your monthly expenses is right here. You can then put your profit goal if you like in here, which will change the numbers up here, and put your time zone in. You'll have connected your CRM, which is right now we work on House Call Pro, and I'll be adding Jobber and Smart Service, Kickserve, and all these other in there soon. So if you don't have House Call Pro or Jobber, we're working on real soon, like next week, just message me and I will work. If you're ready to pay, and you want it done, you just pay me, and then I'll work on integrating it. And it probably shouldn't take a day or a week. I mean, let's just say a week and a half. You'll have your numbers, and so you put that all in. You go through an onboarding thing that connects. Just some things you got to actually download a little Chrome extension that I made. I had to become a Google. I literally had to become a Google developer. I got approved. Apparently, I'm not a criminal, so I got approved to be a Google developer, put stuff on Google for development wise for people to use, and then I made a Google extension, Chrome extension that you will go download the Chrome extension. It'll go on your tab. In the same tab, you'll have the Chrome extension will be on. You'll sign in to the Nut report, and then you'll also sign into your CRM. In this case, House Call Pro. Now, you'll then go to your dashboard and you'll hit refresh, and bloop, all your numbers will show up for the current week going on. So we'll have to build other weeks going on, but here's where it'll start. So let's just say you just want to know zero profit. Or let's say you want to put 20% profit in this week. What you're going to do is you're going to literally put that in here, and this will be your break even, but this will show you your goal with whatever percentage over that. And then it's going to show you right here, green or red, if it's going to be if you're at your goal. And then it's going to show you as you're building your monthly production, it's going to show you where you're at with the production. And then you come down here, it shows you last week, current week, and next week. That's your production and sales and your goals. And then over here is your cards. This is your current week. Sales production that you have scheduled to work be done. And then any approved sales. And right now on this week, then this is my demo account. Yeah, we had no sales today or this week, and I got to change this. But for the month, we've had $45,000 in sales. But it will populate over here what all your approved sales and all that kind of stuff is, la, la, la. And then you have a snapshot down here of all your other previous weeks as you're doing it. But then here's your next 3 weeks of production to show you how much money you have scheduled. So now you have this week and the next 3 weeks of production, and you know what your expenses are. Now we have a target to always see it. So you might be saying, well, I can get that report in my House Call Pro or my whatever. And it's like, no, you can't. Not like this. This is a whole, and all the CRMs, you can't see this in one place. And we're going to be adding so many more numbers to this, and that this is going to literally be your snapshot of how to ask the right questions to be able to fix your business. And so you got to know your expenses. You got to know how much production you have, and you got to know your sales. These 3 numbers can tell you so much about your business. And so, I mean, once you take your production minus expenses, it's going to show you the truth of your business. No more do you feel like you're making money. No more busy looks profitable, yet the bank account's not showing it. This is the answer to start making the calendar be truthful. Most people get punched right in the face by that calendar. At the end of the week, the deposits don't equal the expenses. So what if you know in advance that next week does not have profit built in? That's the whole thing, right? Do you want to find out you're slammed and you lost money? And I bet you that's happening to you now. I bet it does. Now, in your busy season, when it's hard to not make money, but are you making the right money? Are you hitting your goals? So in the Nut report, you put in a goal for what you want to do each week if you have the correct expenses, and you start hitting that number. And by the way, you share this. This doesn't show profit. It just shows where you want to be. Show it to your call center so that they schedule properly, so that they know this week, next week is, because you don't want the schedule to keep lying to them. No more lies. Truth. No more feeling. No more feeling that you aren't doing well. You'll now know if you aren't. You'll see it. You'll now know exactly how good you're doing. And you get to fix it in real time. This is your answer. This is the way you start. Now, you can track all these numbers yourself, absolutely. What I find is nobody does. They try, they don't. They need something done for them because you need to run your business. You need to build it. And here's the difference. Now, hear me out, everybody. Here we go. Listen up. The difference between anyone doing well over $1 million and anyone not make it to $1 million is knowing numbers. Not sales process, not marketing, Not any of those numbers yet. When you start to know your expenses, your sales, your production, and you start adding in the technicians' numbers, you start adding in what your marketing numbers are, you start adding just a small segment of numbers, you will take your $1 million business to $2 million. And it'll be easier. But you broke through the million. Getting to 2 million is actually pretty easy when you know the numbers. If you're doing everything on exactly the way you did it before, well, you're going to be stuck at $1 million. If you're lucky to get to $1 million, the guys that get to know their numbers in the beginning will get to $1 million faster. I guarantee it. There is nobody that got to $1 million who didn't know a couple numbers about their business passionately. You got to know it. So think about this. So you're working harder to lose money. Don't lose any more money. Don't work that hard. Know your numbers. Busy will make you broke. Busy hides broken. Don't let busy hurt you. Knowing these few numbers is what it's going to take. And so the most powerful part is once you actually know these numbers, you can make decisions immediately. So if you're losing money, you can raise your prices, cut bad jobs, fix your schedule, change who's running jobs, add more hours. Maybe you need to work Saturday this week because you need an extra job. Stop guessing and start adjusting. So if you're full but still losing, this is huge. If you're booked out and still losing money, you don't need more leads. You have a pricing problem, you have an efficiency problem, or you might even have a labor problem. More work won't fix a broken model, but knowing the numbers will. You'll be able to start pinpointing it's a pricing problem, it's an efficiency problem. And so if you're full and profitable, now we've got a different problem. You need to hire. Maybe you're maxed out at profitability. You're leaving money on the table. Had that conversation today with a 40-year-old chimney company guy. I said, start tracking this number. I don't want to do that. Start tracking this number. Let's see if it's worth it. Let's see it, even though you don't want to do it. Let's see if maybe your clients can use it. And so without getting into it, so there's some stuff that numbers will start telling you. And so if production's slow, you got a sales and marketing problem, plain and simple. So you just start learning how to pinpoint things when you start seeing just these numbers. And all you have to know is your monthly expense target to be able to create a profit. And it's going to start showing us sales up versus goals versus production. It's going to tell us how much sales we need. It's going to branch off into, okay, if this is our sales, we start tracking our marketing, and it can be done automatically, which is going to be built next in the nut report, is how many jobs did you get? How many jobs did you sell? What was your average ticket? What was your sales per opportunity percentage? And then all of a sudden we said, well, how many opportunities did you get? And all of a sudden, okay, we need to spend more on marketing because we're not getting enough opportunities because all the numbers look good or the numbers look bad. Well, you're getting enough opportunities, but the sales aren't there. I have another company I worked with today. They got the opportunity, but their sales are down. And the guys are passionate. They just need to learn how to sell. And that is where you start knowing where your problems are by just knowing 3 numbers. Literally. And it's shocking to me that people couldn't even tell you what their expenses are. Do you know what your expenses are for the year or maybe the month or the quarter? But you don't actually know what my expenses are this week. So if you don't know your expenses are this week, how do you have a goal to know how much sales to have to be able to feed production and schedule this much production and make money this week? It's that simple. That's where we start with coaching with everybody. Everybody. This episode should change your life. Weekly control. You should know by Wednesday if you're going to make money this week. If not, you should know that by Monday or Friday of last week. Not the end of the month. The weekly visibility is going to give you control. Monthly reports just tell you what already happened. Oops, too late. We lost money. You know, the net report is built by AI. You could build this if you want, but good luck. It's just, it's something that you need to run your business, and all this stuff about people out there. I've seen this on some of the stuff that let's go build something for our reports. Well, I'll tell you, this net report took me 3 weeks to get built, and I know AI, and it's working. So I'm not saying don't go try stuff with AI. And I've got another podcast coming up. Stay tuned for next week. I got a way to use AI to show people how to do before and after pictures of their actual project. But okay, I digress. Let's get back to knowing your numbers. Most people don't track it because it's painful, it's confusing. They don't know really what to look at. That's where something like a new report AI comes in. It pulls everything together for you. If you're about to lose $2,800 this week, don't you want to know that before it happens? If you need 10,000 more in production to hit your numbers, don't you want to know that before that week so that you know to fix it? I literally have helped the two clients. I have two clients now that are looking at numbers, giving me their numbers correctly, and we've fixed weeks that they were about to lose thousands of dollars and made them profitable by knowing those numbers. And so at the end of the day, if you don't know your numbers, you don't have control. And if you don't have control, you don't really have a business. Your calendar is not your scoreboard. Busy is not success. Busy will make you broke. The owners that win are the ones who know the truth before the week ends. So I implore you to look into this. Email me or text me. Email me at chad@stopworkingbroke.com. You can go to the nutreport.com and look more about the report. It is not quite live. By the time you hear this tomorrow, tomorrow would be the 23rd of April when I get it produced. That hopefully you can download it. But if not, I want this on your radar. I want you to start using it. I want to help you. We're also going to do, once I get 3 signups, just 3, we're going to do a coaching call every week to start helping you with your numbers. It's part of the $197 a month. And I haven't picked the day. I'm waiting until I get some signups. Then I'm going to start helping you profit from the numbers. It's that simple. Where else can you go get a business coach that's going to look at your numbers, talk to you in a group setting though, and we're going to tell you how to make money right now. So that's all coming. So if you want to know about it more, you can text me at 972-877-3585. Pause, replay, text me, or email me again at chad@stopworkingbroke.com. And I want to help you. This is not a sales tool for me to be stinky or anything. I want you to make money. The money goes around. The more money I can help you make, the more money maybe I can make. Everybody makes money, and that's how this world works. So, hey, thanks for listening to the podcast, Stop Working Broke. Until next time, over and out.